Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome to Congregation Dor Tamid and our Friday evening Kabbalat Shabbat service. It is great to see you all here tonight, joining us. Some of you here on Zoom, some of you on Facebook, some of you on YouTube or our website. Whatever method you are using to join us in services tonight, it is great to see all of you here coming together as one community as we enter into this day of Shabbat, coming out of today that was Rosh Chodesh Adar, the first of the Hebrew month of Adar, which means two things. One, our joy is supposed to get to a greater level. We'll talk about that a little bit more in the service later, but also that Purim is coming up, one of my favorite holidays. We're just a couple weeks away from Purim. But in the meantime, we've come to this Shabbat, to this day of rest and relaxation and reflection that God has given us, that our divine presence in the world has bestowed upon us as an opportunity to take that step back, to really take stock of the week that was, to figure out where we are in the world, who we are as individuals, and to enter into this time that's really a gift, that's really a holy and separate moment to come together as community and to celebrate our ability to be present with one another. We begin by singing Hine Ma Tov. We do each week, we begin our service by bringing more light into creation. So I invite you now at your own homes to join me in lighting our Sabbath lights. With wine, with grape juice, with the fruit of the vine, our symbol of joy, we sanctify this moment.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzamanu v'shabbat kodsho b'yavahu v'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron l'maaseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila l'mikra'e kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim Kivanu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol hamim v'shabbat kodechecha v'yava uvratzon hinchalatanu Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. We all sing. Amen.
Chaim. As we enter into Shabbat, we turn to the words of the Psalms that ask us to sing these songs to God. These songs that are meant to open our hearts, our souls, our minds to the newness of the world, the newness that the Sabbath brings to us each week.
Shiru Adonai Kol Haaretz Shiru Adonai Shir Chadash Shiru Adonai Kol Haaretz Shiru Adonai Shir Chadash. Sing unto God all the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we'll all sing along all the earth a new song unto God. Shiru Adonai Kol Haaretz Shiru Adonai Shir Chadash.
The mystics of Shabbat would go out into the hills, welcoming in the Sabbath, singing the Psalms, raising their spirituality, getting closer and closer to this moment of the Sabbath coming in. And they looked to Shabbat as the bride and the beloved of Israel. And right as the sun was going down, they would march back into the city, march to their synagogues, singing these words of Lecha Dodi that say, welcome. Beloved, come, let us meet the bride. Let us come and greet Shabbat. We sing together.
Yalalalai lecha dodi, yalalalai lekrat kala, yalalalai pnei Shabbat nekavela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad ish miyanu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad l'shemu tiferet v'litilah Yalalai lecha dodi, yalalai lekra kala, yalalai b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki mikor abracha, merosh mikedem mesucha, sof maseh mashava tehillah. Yalalai lecha dodi, yalalai lekra kala, yalalai b'nei Shabbat B'nei Shabbat Kabbalat. Itoreri, Va'orech u'mi'uri, Uri, Shedaberi, Kivod Adonai, Alayek Nigla, Yalalai, Yalalai L'chadodi, Yalalai L'krakala, Yalalai B'nei Shabbat, B'nei Shabbat Nekabela. Boi v'shalom, Ateret Bala, Gam v'simcha u'b'tzola, Jochem bonei, Gam segula, Boi kala, Boi kala, Yalalai, Yalalai L'chadodi, Yalalai L'krakala, Yalalai B'nei Shabbat, B'nei Shabbat Nekabela.
Now that we have welcomed in Shabbat, we transition to the Shema and its blessings with the words of the Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitgadal ve'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Yalmad ivrach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh. B'chayechon u'vyomechon. U'b'chayei techol beit Yisrael. Bagala. U'vizman kari v'yimeru. Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevorach. Le'alam olal me'al maya yitbarach ve'yishtabach v'yitbar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh ve'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemei dekudisha berichu leila min kol birchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata Na'amiran be'alma v'yimeru. Amen. Yalalai, lai, lai. 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 Barechu et Adonai. Mevorach. Baruch Adonai Haborach. Le'olam va'ed. Le'olam va'ed. Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared?
This is an hour of change. Within it, we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change, and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on the evening.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha. Vehayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shivtecha b'veitecha uv'lechtecha v'aterech uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha ukshartam leot al yadecha והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
Yalai lai lai la la lai, yalai lai lai lai, yalai lai 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 la la lai, yalai lai lai yala la la lai, yalai lai la lai la 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 lai, yalai lai lai yala la la lai lai, yalai lai 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 yalai la la lai, yalai lai lai yala la la lai. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi chamocha neder b'kodesh, nora tehilo lo seifele, nora tehilo lo seifele. Malechutecha ra'u vanecha, bokei ayam lifnei Moshe, zeli anu ve'yameru, zeli anu ve'yameru. Adonai imloch leolam va'ed, Adonai imloch leolam va'ed. Michamocha ba'elim Adonai, michamocha neder b'kodesh, nora tehilot osefele, nora tehilot osefele.
We turn now to the words of the Hashkivenu, words that ask God to guard over us as we go to sleep. We are taught that when we lie down at night, our soul actually leaves our body, traveling back to the holy source of all creation. We ask God to watch over us, our sleeping body, as well as our soul that is with the eternal, and to return our soul to us tomorrow morning after we have emerged from our sleep, emerged from the Sukkot Shalom that is placed over us, over that shelter of peace that we sleep through during the night. And we ask God then to return our souls so that we can wake up, to be partners with God in creation, doing the work of mitzvot and tikkun olam another day.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. Hamidenu Shomrenu Lechayim. Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha, Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath your wings, Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 Amen.
Turn now to words from Torah, the words of Vishamru that remind us that as we keep Shabbat, it will keep us too and renew our souls.
Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam, berit olam, beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam. Ki sheshet yamim as Adonai al tashamayim bet haaretz uvayom hashvi'i Shabbat Shabbat vayinafa Shabbat vayinafash Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat Zot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti leolam oti leolam oti leolam.
We rise now in body or in spirit for the tefillah.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai. Yalla lai lai lai, yalla lai lai lai. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ואמרו אמן. יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, יעשה שלום, יעשה שלום, שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל.
As I mentioned earlier in our service, today, Friday, February 12th, was an important day as it fell on the Hebrew calendar, this Hebrew day that ended right as Shabbat was beginning. Last night when the sun went down, we began this day of Rosh Chodesh Adar, the first of the Hebrew month of Adar. And in the Talmud, in Tractate Ta'anit, a section of the Talmud that talks primarily about fasting, we read a very specific phrase about this day. It says, Misha nichnas Adar marbin b'simcha. When Adar comes in, when Adar begins, our joy should increase. The rabbis saw this month of Adar as our happiest month on the calendar. First and foremost, the reason for that is Purim is coming up, our happiest holiday, our day of joy and merrymaking, and even for many of us, a little schnapps as we celebrate Queen Esther and her bravery, and Mordechai and his wisdom, and their combined victory with the rest of the Jewish community over the evil Haman. And I'll give you a moment to boo and hiss. And so this month of Adar is said to be our happiest month. But I think it's our happiest month for a few reasons. One, Purim, of course, but also because we start to see newness. Last month, we celebrated Tu B'Shvat, the rebirth of the trees. And now we start to see the fruits of that. Many of us planted seeds, planted parsley on Tu B'Shvat, and they finally, this week, in my house at least, started to sprout. We started to see the plants coming up from the earth. Adar brings with us not only Purim, but it brings with us that hint of spring that's almost here. We typically think of Nisan, our month of Passover, as our month of renewal, our month of beginning, as we head forth from slavery to freedom in our spring month. But Adar means we're almost there. And so we rejoice at having made the journey through this year. The journey from last Nisan, which is the first month on the Hebrew calendar, even though Rosh Hashanah is not until the 7th month, a conversation for another day, we finally made it. We're in the 12th month. We are almost to the point of renewal, of heading to the month of Pesach, the month of our freedom. But this Parsha that falls this week and Rosh Chodesh Adar that falls this week are juxtaposed in a very specific way. We say, Misha Nichnas Adar Marbin B'Simcha. When Adar comes in, our joy increases. And in 2 weeks, we'll have Purim, where we dress in funny clothes and boo and hiss in the synagogue, or this year virtually in the synagogue. But this week's Parsha is Mishpatim. Mishpatim meaning the laws or statutes. And so the balance here is that we have to have joy, but we have to have law as well. We have to have structure as well. We can't just be revelrous and joyful without any limitations. One day a year on Purim is okay. But Mishpatim this week reminds us that the structure allows for the joy. Elsewhere in our Torah, we read in the book of Psalms, Ashrei Yoshvei Beitecha Od Yahalelucha Seva. Who is happy? The one who resides in God's house, doing God's rules, fulfilling the mitzvot, doing works of tikkun olam, because it is doing these good deeds, the Bible teaches us, the Psalms teach us, truly can bring us joy. And in our service tomorrow morning, not only will we sing those words, but we will sing the words that say, Yismechu b'malachutcha shomrei Shabbat v'korei oneg. When we keep this day of Shabbat, we should, above all else, call it a joy. Because by living in this structure of time, by living in this structure that Mishpatim provides and that our week provides and Shabbat gives us, we can truly be joyful on a day where we can step back and rest and reflect and renew. So now that Adar comes in, now that we are on the second day of Adar, may all of us truly have a month where our joy increases. We take a moment now as we pause in our service and think of those members of our congregation who are ill. Some are in the hospital, some are at home, some who have diseases and illnesses from which they may never recover. We think of all of them as we sing together this prayer of healing.
Misheberach Avotenu Kor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Amen. We rise now in body or in spirit for Aleinu.
Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol latekiru la leotzer breshit שהוא נוטה שמיים ועושה הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
The light of life is a finite flame. Like the Shabbat candles, life is kindled, it burns, it glows, it is radiant with warmth and beauty, but soon it fades, its substance is consumed, and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. The flames dance and our life burns down in gutters. There is an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die. We move in the eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. Our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. At this sacred moment of our Shabbat evening worship, we think longingly and lovingly of those taken from us both recently and at this season in years past. We are in a period of Shloshim, the first 30 days since their passing of Rabbi Michael Kane, Frank Mandel, and Kathy June Squires. And we mark the Artzites, the anniversary of their passing on this Shabbat, of Joseph Aaron Kalin, Thelma Greenwald, Abram Gordon, Nathan Cramero, Ham Kurtz, Ruth Smilowitz, Larry Schuster, Joan Shaw Friedman, Rhoda Sokol, Moshe Ilyev, Pauline Abrams, Beatrice Rossin, and Gail Talent. If you are remembering someone on this Shabbat, I invite you to speak their name out loud wherever you are, thus linking their name and memory to all of those we have listed, the millions of our people who have no one to say Kaddish for them, as well as the thousands and thousands who have died because of the coronavirus. We link all of their names and memories to the Shemei Rabbah, the great, holy, and awesome name of God that we praise now as one community with the words of the mourner's Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, v'yalmad yivrach yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh, v'chayechon v'yamechon v'chayeh dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agalav v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah mevorach le'olam elamei maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. Yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbachata v'nechemata. Da'amiran v'yalma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osteh shalom b'mromav. Huya aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn, and comfort all the bereaved here and everywhere with the blessing of peace, as together wherever we are, we say, Amen.
Ose shalom bimromav, huyase shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Ve'imeru. Amen.
Good Shabbos, everyone. It is great to see you all tonight joining us, however you are joining us, whether it is Zoom, Facebook, YouTube, our website, coming together as one community virtually for this Kabbalat Shabbat worship service as we begin together our month of Adar. Just a few brief announcements before we conclude our service this evening. We will continue celebrating Shabbat tomorrow morning at 9:15 with our Shabbat morning story time, and then at 10 o'clock with our Shabbat morning worship service, both of which can be found on Facebook. And then tomorrow night at 7:30, join Mike as we say farewell to Shabbat with a service of Havdalah at 7:30. There is, as a reminder, no religious school this week because of the President's Day holiday weekend, and therefore our office is also closed on Monday. On Tuesday, Molly's Hebrew class will return at 10, moving from Monday to Tuesday just for this week. And at 1 o'clock, our knit and crochet group will meet via Zoom. At 7 o'clock on Tuesday night, Mike will be back for another little bit of Mike music. And on Wednesday, you're invited to join me as we continue studying the book of Numbers. Thursday morning, our prime timers will meet for coffee at 10 a.m. on Zoom, and we're going to discuss the movie Run, Boy, Run. Keep an eye out for other movies over the next few weeks that we're going to watch as part of the Atlanta Jewish Film Festival. More information will be coming out in your email this week, but we have a few picked out and they seem like they're supposed to be great movies. So keep an eye out for that for the next few weeks for the Prime Timers Coffee. Anyone who wants to talk about the movies, you're more than welcome to join us on Thursday morning. At 7 o'clock on Thursday night, our 9th grade class will meet here at CDT outside for a social event. Watch for more information or call Molly if you have any questions for our 9th grade families. Next Friday, we will be back at 7:30 p.m. for Kabbalat Shabbat on Zoom, Facebook, YouTube, and our website. And then next Sunday on February 21st, in addition to religious school and Play Tamid at 2 p.m., we have our Gary Rosenthal Mezuzah Project workshop on Zoom. There are still a few Mezuzah kits available. If you are interested in participating in this workshop, please make sure to call the office on Tuesday to reserve your kit if you have not already done so. And kits can be picked up this week from 10 to 6 on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Looking ahead, Purim is coming, as I mentioned earlier in the service. On the 25th, join us on Facebook and our website for our virtual Megillah reading and Purim spiel live from CDT. It is Shushan Night Live, so it's going to be a lot of fun. It should be pretty funny, and I hope you'll join us for a good time as we welcome in Purim on the 25th of February at 7:30 p.m. On February 28th, we will have our family-friendly, all-ages, fun, exciting Purim celebration, bringing in Shir Lala, Shira Klein, who is a phenomenal singer, songwriter, performer, entertainer, storyteller, musician, coming to us via Zoom from New York. And it's going to be just a lot of fun and exciting. And we're going to have costume contests. So dress up and make sure to join us. We'll have prizes for kids, we'll have prizes for adults, and we'll have prizes for the best family costume if you join together in theme with those on your Zoom screen. Then as we enter into March, we have 3 big things coming up before we even get to Passover. On March 7th, Sunday morning, we're going to be joined from Israel by Cantor Evan Kent, who is going to be sharing with us his performance called Shards, Putting the Pieces Together, where he will, through story and song and even a little puppetry, tell us the story of his grandparents' immigration to this country, juxtaposed with his own aliyah to Israel. Join us for what is sure to be a phenomenally interesting and thought-provoking morning. On March 13th, we have a musical performance by Amy and Mike Zuspin and Havdalah Under the Stars. Join us on Saturday night outside on the patio here at CDT for a night of music and being together and socially distant and safe outdoor programming. I don't even know what to call it at this point, but I'm just excited that we're finally able to get back outside together again.
I mean, it's a concert, right?
Concert, yes.
It's a
And
concert.
Yes, so join us for that. And then on March 19th through the 21st, we're going to be joined by Rabbi Norman Cohen from Minneapolis, my hometown childhood rabbi, for a Scholar in Residence weekend. On Friday evening, he'll be speaking during services, and on Sunday morning, he will be teaching a class. It's going to be really interesting, and it's an honor to be able to bring my rabbi to our community. So I hope you will join us for that as well. And then the following weekend is Pesach. So we have a lot coming up in the next 6 weeks. I hope to see you all at all of these programs, services, events, classes, and everything else we're doing. So keep an eye out for all of the details in your email, on Facebook, the newsletter, every other way that we communicate with you. And in the meantime, because it is the beginning of Adar, we will close our service this evening with those words that I mentioned from the Talmud. Misha nichnas Adar, marbin b'simcha. Please join us in singing together.
Misha, 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 Niknas Adar. Misha, 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 Niknas Adar. Misha, Niknas Adar, Marbim Besimcha. Misha, Niknas Adar, Misha, Besimcha. Misha, 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 Niknas Adar. Misha, 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 Niknas Adar.
Adonai oz le'amo yitain, Adonai yivarech et amo v'et kol b'nei adam b'shalom. May God give strength to our people, and may God bless all of us, all of Israel and all of creation with the blessing of peace, as together wherever we are, we say, Amen.
Amen.
And Shabbat Shalom, everyone.